All right, so here's the Workstorm platform. As you can see, Streams is the top tile in my left-hand menu because it's my top used feature here. To reorder, you can just click and drag to move these tiles around. If you do not see all of these tile menus, you will need to go to the Options menu in the upper right and make sure Enable Fully Featured is toggled on. To reduce overwhelming of the menu, Workstorm initially hides these tiles for new users. Once you enable Fully Featured, you don't have to touch this toggle again unless you want to hide these tiles. So looking at the interface, starting at the top, you can see I have a few tabs open, and these ones have the lock icon. This means that these windows will stay persistent at the top, regardless if I open new windows. So you can easily close these windows, you can unlock them, you can remove previously pinned windows, and just like the menu tiles, you can also rearrange these tabs. What we're currently looking at here is the User Adoption Services stream. There is an orange globe, which means at least one member of the stream is external. In the first part of this training, I had mentioned that the panels are customizable. You can decide what to display and then also rearrange these panels. If you don't like what you've rearranged, you can also just click the reset and the layout will go back to its default. Let's take a closer look at the Events panel. Events are going to display your tasks for the next 7 days. You can click on a task to open it directly. Also, if you want to connect your Microsoft or Google Calendar and you already have that connected, you can click on Show Calendar Events, and this is going to give you a well-rounded picture of your schedule. I think that's a good segue into tasks. The Tasks panel is going to give you a snapshot of tasks, and you're going to be able to see the top tasks just depending on how they are displayed. So you can also change how they're sorted. If you want to get a full expanded view, you can click on the task dashboard header, and then you are going to be able to see a holistic view of all of the tasks that you've created or are assigned to or are watching. One key thing to note is that you are not going to see tasks that exist that you're not part of. To go back to your dashboard, you can just click the stream name. Creating a task is easy. Click the plus new button, and once you set your details, you can also go ahead and add files to the task and then also take a look at the task activity. This will show you when assignments have changed or people have been added. You can also chat with the other people assigned to or watching this task. Down here below, we have all of the channels associated to this stream. This is going to include any of the one-to-many and one-to-one messages. In the dashboard view, you can get a quick snapshot of the conversation and quick reply. You can also click the channels dashboard to open a bigger view. Within any channel, you're going to be able to start a video call and share files. Finally, in this particular stream dashboard, let's take a look at the Files section. Files is going to give you the ability to share files from a connected document management system and also upload files to channels or to this file section directly. One important aspect to note is that this file panel will show you all of the files that you have access to within the stream. So if you want everyone in the stream to have access to a specific file, you can add it directly to this window. However, it's most likely that you will have some channels with specific people and you may want to share sensitive information or documents with just those parties. So if you wanted to do that, you can just add the file to the channel and only the people in that channel will have access to the files. It will only display in this files panel for those people who have access. Just really quick recap on streams. So from the stream menu, you're going to be able to quickly navigate between channels, tasks, and files dashboards. Let's move on to messages from the menu bar. The messages section is going to bring together all of your messages in one location. Looking at the mini menu bar up here, you're going to see that you can view all of your messages, your streams, channels, folders, channels, direct messages, and announcements. The all view is going to show you the entirety of every single message that you are part of every conversation. This can become overwhelming, so you may find it beneficial to immediately just go look at streams, folders, and other messages accordingly. For example, I've created several personal folders to organize channels and direct messages. This is going to give me the ability to categorize those conversations. In my actual Workstorm instance, I have folders dedicated to leadership conversations, conversations with outside agencies, customer success, and marketing events. Once you move a direct message and channel into that folder, it's going to live in the folders section. It does not duplicate the access across the board. One other key thing to note is that folders are personal to you, which means you can add any direct message or channel to a folder, and it's not going to change the view with anybody else you're in the conversation with. Introducing streams created the ability to map channels to a specific project. So as a result, you can click on the streams icon and to see all the channels associated by that stream. Because of this, you can't move a stream channel into a personal folder. One last thing on the messages, you can click the plus add button and then you can immediately create a folder, start a new direct message channel. You can also join a channel or announcement. Workstorm messages are private by default, so anything with a lock icon will require approval to join. Let's go through a few more main features to reinforce how Workstorm meets you where you are. When you click on Files, you're going to see the native Workstorm file storage, as well as any document management systems that you've connected. The main Workstorm repository is going to mirror all of the files that you've uploaded into streams, channels, or tasks, as well as any files that you've shared with, or any files shared with you in these locations. So if I click on the User Adoption Services stream, you can see the files that live in that dashboard. From any of these folders, you're going to be able to easily reshare files directly to a message or stream. You can also choose how people will interact with that file, specifically by giving people the ability to only preview it, preview and share, or be able to preview, share, or download it locally to their computer. So here I've shared the file. Now you can see it lives in the User Adoption Services stream. Quickly moving down to calendar, if you connect your Microsoft or Google account, you're going to be able to see your calendar displayed here. You can also create new events, and any changes that you make will sync back to your Outlook or Google Calendar. You do have the ability to add video conference details to an event just by clicking on the toggle to add VC. And then if you need a waiting room, you can also add that as a requirement. So that way, as people join your meeting, you'll have to manually admit them in. Once you've added all of the info for your event, go ahead and click Create Event, and your event will send. Workstorm also is going to connect to email. And a key benefit here is that if you want to create a task directly from email, you're going to be able to do that. One thing to remember is the stream must be created already for this function to work. So this is a great help if you are working with a client or working internally and you're managing a lot of tasks through email. You can immediately create a task and associate that into the appropriate stream. Connections are going to show you all the people you are connected with on a Workstorm, the people in your company, as well as any pending connection requests or invites. And then meetings here, I mentioned a couple of times already, Workstorm is really going to meet you where you are. This is going to give you the option to start an ad hoc video call or schedule a meeting within the Workstorm platform if you don't have your calendar connected. However, most clients are using Workstorm video through the Workstorm calendar connection or the plugin Outlook calendar to be able to add that video conference information in. We're getting close to wrapping up, but I want to call out the settings area in the upper right. If you click on the options menu and click settings, here's where you can adjust your profile information, add a profile picture. You can also see what connected accounts you have. You can see here that I have my Microsoft account connected. This is also where you can adjust your settings for display, notifications, and video conference defaults. If you're an admin, you will also see additional organizational settings. I'm an admin for this adoption account, so I see it here, but general users aren't going to see these choices. One last major button to call out before we conclude today's training. In the upper left, you're going to see a blue New Action button. This is going to be your quick access to the most common actions in Workstorm. So there we have it. This concludes today's Workstorm 101 training. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next advanced and use case specific trainings.